Complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or C-PTSD, is a serious mental health condition. It develops from prolonged or repeated trauma, often occurring in childhood. This trauma can include abuse, neglect, or witnessing violence. C-PTSD impacts many areas of life, affecting self-concept, emotional regulation, and relationships. People with C-PTSD often struggle with intense emotions. They may have difficulty controlling their anger and may feel constantly ashamed or guilty. Relationships can be challenging due to trust issues and fear of abandonment. C-PTSD changes how the brain processes emotions. The amygdala, responsible for fear responses, becomes overactive. The hippocampus, involved in memory and context, may be impaired. This leads to fragmented memories, emotional flashbacks, and difficulty distinguishing between past and present threats. These changes make it difficult for individuals with C-PTSD to regulate emotions. They may react disproportionately to perceived threats. The impact of C-PTSD extends beyond the individual. It affects families, communities, and society as a whole. Understanding C-PTSD is crucial for providing appropriate support and treatment. It also helps to reduce stigma and create a more compassionate and informed society. Rage, a powerful and often frightening emotion, is a hallmark of C-PTSD. It's not simply anger, it's a primal response to prolonged threat, a survival mechanism that helped individuals navigate overwhelming danger. In childhood trauma, rage may have been the only way to protect oneself or express unbearable pain. However, in adulthood, this rage can be triggered by seemingly insignificant events. A slight criticism, a loud noise, or a perceived rejection can evoke an intense, overwhelming rage response. This disproportionate rage is a source of immense distress for individuals with C-PTSD. They often feel overwhelmed by the intensity of their anger. They may fear losing control and hurting themselves or others. This fear can lead to avoidance behaviors, isolating individuals and further perpetuating the cycle of shame and guilt. Understanding the roots of this rage, its connection to past trauma, and its function as a survival mechanism is crucial for developing effective coping strategies. Shame is a deeply painful emotion that cuts to the core of our being. It whispers that we are inherently flawed, unworthy, and unlovable. For those with C-PTSD, shame is not a fleeting feeling but a chronic state of being. It stems from the internalization of blame and negative messages often received during childhood trauma. The abuser may have blamed the child directly or indirectly for the abuse. This could involve statements like, "You made me do this," or "You're worthless." This internalized blame becomes a toxic seed, growing into deep feelings of unworthiness and self-loathing. Individuals with C-PTSD often view themselves through a lens of shame, believing they are inherently bad or damaged. This can manifest in self-sabotaging behaviors, difficulty setting boundaries, and an inability to accept love and support. Guilt is another heavy emotion frequently carried by survivors of complex trauma. They may feel guilty for things they did or didn't do during the traumatic experience. They might also feel responsible for the abuser's actions or believe they could have prevented the trauma. This guilt can be particularly intense in cases where the survivor had to make impossible choices to survive, leading to what's known as survivor guilt. Survivor guilt is the agonizing feeling that one has survived at the expense of others. It can stem from situations where the individual escaped harm while others didn't. This guilt can be incredibly isolating. Survivors may struggle to allow themselves joy or success. They may feel undeserving of happiness while others suffered. Understanding and addressing survivor guilt is essential in helping individuals move towards healing and self-compassion. In this chapter, we will delve deeper into the dynamics of rage, shame, and guilt. These emotions often create a complex emotional landscape, making individuals feel trapped and unable to find a way out. Anger often arises as a defense mechanism against perceived threats or injustices, while shame and guilt can be internalized, leading to feelings of worthlessness and self-blame. This combination can lead to a sense of hopelessness and helplessness as individuals struggle to break free from these overwhelming emotions. Understanding these dynamics is crucial for finding effective ways to cope and heal. Imagine a scenario where a survivor is triggered by a seemingly innocuous event. This trigger ignites a spark of anger, a primal response to perceived threat or injustice. However, this anger doesn't just dissipate, it turns inward, morphing into shame. The individual starts to question their worth, their actions, and their very being. This shame then breeds guilt, a feeling of responsibility for the trauma they endured or the actions they had to take to survive. The guilt amplifies the shame, which in turn fuels more anger. And so, the cycle continues. Breaking this cycle is no easy task. It requires a deep understanding of how these emotions interplay and feed off each other. By recognizing the patterns and triggers, individuals can begin to disrupt the cycle. They can start to challenge their internalized negative beliefs and replace them with self-compassion and understanding. This process is crucial for moving forward on the path to healing and recovery. Section 5. Trapped in a cycle. The interplay of rage, shame, and guilt. Rage, shame, and guilt rarely exist in isolation in C-PTSD. They intertwine, forming a powerful and destructive feedback loop. A trigger may spark rage, which then turns inward as shame. The shame reinforces feelings of unworthiness, fueling further rage. Guilt often enters the cycle, amplifying the shame and perpetuating the cycle. This cycle can be incredibly difficult to break. It keeps individuals trapped in their trauma, preventing them from healing and moving forward. Recognizing this interplay is crucial. It allows individuals to understand the dynamics of their emotional responses. This understanding is the first step towards disrupting the cycle and developing healthier coping mechanisms. Section 6. Finding release, expressing rage safely. The urge to express rage in C-PTSD is powerful and understandable. However, finding safe and constructive outlets is essential. Catharsis theory suggests that expressing pent-up emotions can be therapeutic. This doesn't mean lashing out at others. Instead, it involves channeling rage into physical activities. Examples include exercise, hitting a punching bag, or screaming into a pillow. While these activities can offer temporary relief, it's important to note that research on catharsis is mixed. Some studies suggest it can reinforce aggressive behaviors. This highlights the need for caution and self-awareness. It's crucial to engage in these activities with the intention of releasing energy, not fueling anger. Additionally, these activities should be part of a broader therapeutic approach that addresses the underlying trauma. Section 7. Healing the wounds, trauma therapies, and somatic approaches. Addressing the root cause of these intense emotions requires specialized therapeutic interventions. Trauma-informed therapies such as eye movement, desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, and somatic experiencing can help reprocess traumatic memories and regulate emotional responses. These therapies focus on the body's response to trauma. They help individuals develop a sense of safety and control over their physical sensations. Somatic approaches like yoga, tai chi, and mindfulness meditation can also be beneficial. These practices help individuals connect with their bodies, regulate their nervous systems, and develop healthier coping mechanisms for managing overwhelming emotions. Integrating these approaches into a comprehensive treatment plan can provide individuals with the tools they need to heal from trauma and regain control over their lives. Section 8. The path to long-term healing, regulation, processing, and support. Healing from C-PTSD is a journey, not a destination. It requires ongoing effort, self-compassion, and a multifaceted approach. Long-term healing focuses on developing emotional regulation skills, processing traumatic memories, and building a supportive network. This may involve a combination of therapy, support groups, medication, and lifestyle changes. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation and deep breathing exercises, can help individuals become aware of their emotions without judgment. This awareness is crucial for interrupting automatic reactions and choosing healthier responses. Expressive arts therapies, such as art, music, and dance, provide creative outlets for processing emotions and expressing experiences that may be difficult to put into words. Section 9. Towards integration and balance, embracing the journey of recovery. Recovering from C-PTSD is not about erasing the past, but learning to integrate it into the present. It's about developing compassion for oneself and understanding that these emotions, while painful, were adaptive responses to extraordinary circumstances. It's about recognizing that healing is not linear. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way. The journey is about learning to navigate these challenges with self-compassion, resilience, and a commitment to growth. It's about finding balance. It's about cultivating moments of joy and connection amidst the pain. It's about reclaiming one's life and embracing the strength and resilience that comes from overcoming adversity.